Okay, my name is farid alfarizi and I will present about reported speech. When reporting speech, the tense usually change. This is because when we use reported speech, we are usually talking about a time in the past because obviously the person who spoke originally spoke in the past. The verb, therefore, usually have to be in the past too. The tenses of the repeated clause are usually moved back. This moving back of tenses is called backshift. Changing verb tense. Direct speech. Present simple become past simple in repeated speech. Present continuous become past continuous in repeated speech. Present perfect simple become past perfect simple in repeated speech. Present perfect continuous become past perfect continuous in repeated speech. Past simple become past perfect simple in repeated speech. Future become conditional in repeated speech. Imperative become infinitive in repeated speech. Note that the past perfect simple and the past perfect continuous do not change sign. No backshift is possible. Direct speech can become called in reported speech. Might become might in reported speech. Must become had to in reported speech. Shall become sold in reported speech. Will become would in reported speech. Note: past modals are unchanged. Example: direct speech in present simple. Example: she said it cold. Become past simple is she said it was cold. In present continuous. Example: she said I'm teaching English online. Become past continuous is she said she was teaching English online. In present perfect. Example: she said I've been on the web since 1999. Become past perfect is she said she had been on the web since 1999. In past simple. Example: she said I taught online yesterday. Become past perfect is she said she had taught online yesterday. In past continuous, she said I was teaching earlier. Become past perfect continuous is she said she had been teaching earlier. In past perfect, she said the lesson had already started when he arrived. Is no change. Still past perfect. In models, I can or will or might see later, he said. Become he said he could or would or might see me later. Changing pronouns personal and possessive. Pronoun change or not depending on the view of the reporter. In direct speech, I, me, my, we, us, ours. In reported speech is he or she, him or her, his or her, they, them, and their. Direct speech. Example: John said I'm coming. And reported speech is John said that he was coming. Time and place change. It is often necessary to make time and place change in relation to time change. Time expression. Their speech is now, today, tonight, yesterday, tomorrow, next day, or week, or month, or year. In a reported speech is then, that day, that night, the day before, the following day, or the next day, the following day, or week, or month, or year. Place expression in indirect speech. Here, this, this, and in reported speech is there, that, and those. Example direct speech. John said, I did this exercise last night. And in reported speech is John said that he had done that exercise the previous night. Conditional statement. Type 1. Conditional statements are reported as follows. If you pass your test, I'll buy you a car, he said. Is he said that if I pass my test, he will buy me a car. Type 2 conditional statements are reported as follows. If you pass your test, I will buy you a car, he said. Is he said that if I pass my test, he will buy me a car. Type 3 conditional statements are reported as follows. If you pass your test, I have bought you a car, he said. Is he said that if I pass my test, he'd have bought me a car. Exclamation. Not the word order in reported exclamation. What a silly boy you are, she exclaimed. She told him what a silly boy he was. She told him that he was a silly boy. Indirect statement with mixed tense sequences. Form of the indirect statement with mixed tense sequences. Actual spoken statement. I've read Tony's book and I don't understand it. Become indirect statement with mixed tense sequences. Jim say he's read Tony's book and didn't understand it. Jim said he's read Tony's book and doesn't understand it. Jim said he'd read Tony's book and doesn't understand it. Jim said he'd read Tony's book and didn't understand it. Yes or no question. When the question is preceded by auxiliary that need yes or no answer, it will be used the conjunction if or whether in the indirect speech. The step how to make indirect speech. The question sentence of the indirect speech is firstly changed to be statement. It then follows the rules before. Example, direct speech. Doctor, do you usually take a nap? It is firstly changed to be you usually take a nap. In reported speech is doctor asks if or whether I usually take a nap. Actual spoken question. B. Are you okay? Are you ready? In reported question is he asks me if or whether I am or was ready. Have. Have you finished? In reported question is he asks me if or whether I have or had finished. Do. Do you play chess? In reported question is he asks me if or whether I play or played chess. Models, can I have it? In reported question is he asks me if or whether he can call have it. In the indirect question, word question. In the question using question word QW. To form indirect speech, the question is firstly changed to be statement. QW is what, when, where, which, why, who, whom, and so forth are used as conjunction. Actual spoken question. B. Where are you going? In indirect question, he asks me where I was going. Have. Why haven't you finished? In indirect question, he wants to know why I haven't or hadn't finished. Do. What do you think of it? In indirect question, he wants to know what I think or thought of it. Models. When must I be there? In indirect question, he asks me when he must be or had to be there. Indirect subject question. Actual spoken question. B. Who is in charge here? In indirect question, he is asked me who was in charge here. Person. Which frame makes this part? In indirect question, he asks me which frame makes made this part. Past. What caused the accident? In indirect question, he asks me what caused or had caused the accident. Models. Whose novel will win the prize? In indirect question, he asks me whose novel will win the prize. To infinitive in indirect speech. Actual spoken words. Keep a record of your expenses. In reported version is I told him to keep a record of his expenses. Don't make a mess in the kitchen. In reported version is I told him not to make a mess in the kitchen. How do I prepare the sauce? In reported version is he want to know how to prepare the sauce. I want to speak to the manager. In reported version is she asked to speak to the manager. Reported speech. Look at the girl on the right. We will turn the statement into the reported speech by changing the verb from the present simple to the past simple, the personal pronoun I to she, the possessive pronoun my to her. I love my new dress. The sentence would then be the girl said she loved her new dress. Reported speech. There are several reporting verbs we can use. The most commonly used one is to say, she said she was studying. When the person who we are talking to is severed, we can use to tell. Example, you told me you like your new dress. We may report something that was said without keeping to the original words. The reporting verb itself may contain that idea or intention. The verb here can be to admit, to advise, to agree, to recommend, to suggest, to encourage, to insist, to persuade, to warn, to refuse, to urge, among others. I admit it, I did it. She admitted she did it. Look at the picture. Is the girl said, my mother gave me noodles regularly. Become repetitive speech is the girl said her mother gave her noodles regularly. My book is being very interesting. Become repetitive speech is the woman said her book was being very interesting. I was so tired I passed out on the middle of the street. In reported speech is the man said he had been so tired he passed out on the middle of the street. It has been years since I've had this much fun. In reported speech is the woman said it had been years since she had had that much fun. I will catch a fish today. In reported speech is the girl said she would catch a fish that day. Stop. In reported speech, the man yelled at me to stop. Okay, that's all is my present and thank you.